Hey YouTube algorithm, since you're the only one that watches me, I'll probably be talking to you from now on until miraculously I get some followers or subscribers. So this is it. Welcome to my channel. This is Andre and this is I Play I Talk, and I'm playing now Valiant Hearts, a game, another war game, another side scroller, but much different from Metal Slug because the content of it, this one is much more deep. It's much deeper, it's much more complex. It has actual historical facts embedded within it. I'm not sure, haven't really researched whether this dude's story, the guy in the main screen, if it's real or not. I don't actually think it is real. I think it's just kind of like based on other facts, and they just kind of like build this kind of like character for the World War I, which is what the game is about, the First World War, the one that happened from 1914 to 1918. And this is actually the third time I start playing this game, because the first time I didn't beat it because there was a bug during a boss fight that didn't allow me to hit the boss anymore. So I was there playing for about like half an hour trying to see if the bug was going away or not, and it didn't. So I had to just give up playing this game because bugs are really frustrating, especially when it's one that particularly cannot allow you to go further in the game. So yeah, annoying, right? And the second time I was recording last week for this game, and I did all the spiel that I just did, but I was recording through OBS Studio. I was recording the audio through OBS Studio from both the game and my voice, which is not what I normally would do. I normally just use a recorder, like a separate recorder, and put it up. But this time I decided I was going to try OBS Studio, and that was a mistake, and I recorded the entire thing. I recorded the entire tutorial part of the game. I made my comments and stuff, but to no avail because the audio sucked really badly. Firstly, there was an echo like in my voice, so like it was kind of like feedbacking onto itself, which doesn't necessarily make any sense. And the second part is that I couldn't even doesn't record separate audios for mic and game. So the game audio was much louder than my voice audio, which made it so that my voice is just kind of like noise, and it was just not a good quality content to put up. So I had to just kind of scratch that one, and I didn't have time to make another video because I have more things in my life that are going on and I didn't have time or space to do it. So here I am, having skipped an entire week of videos because I couldn't get myself to record this one properly, and I didn't test my audio or didn't test anything beforehand. So now I'm doing it a little bit different again. I'm hoping this is gonna work. If it works, it will be up on YouTube and people will be able to listen to this. If you're listening to this, it's because it worked. So if you're not listening to this, it didn't work. So whatever, you're not listening to this. So in any case, this is Valiant Hearts. Let's start it over again, and I'll have to put it in the game, and you'll see. Yes, you will lose my current progress, which is of nothing, but it's fine. Alrighty. Okay, new game. Okay, and I have to go through the tutorial again, which is thankfully I've already learned. Freely inspired by events unfold. Yeah, exactly.
August
It's kind of
1st,
freely inspired.
1914.
Let's listen to this
After the
beautiful voice.
assassination of Prince Franz Ferdinand of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the German Empire declares war on Russia. Because of established alliances, France is preparing for conflict. A few hours after the announcement of the general mobilization, German civilians living in France are asked to leave the country. Karl is one of them.
So yeah, Karl is a big part of the story. He's a good guy, not a bad guy. And the Germans are the bad guys most of the time in those wars. They unfortunately didn't do well. Well, I guess for the Second World War. Well, that was a very lame comment. Well, in any case, Germans didn't do well in the wars. So they're bad guys in here. Thank goodness that the Germans didn't do well in the Second World War, at least. But yeah, this is Carl. He was a civilian from Germany in France and had to be, deported back to Germany because of the war. And the guy that we saw after like hugging his wife is Emile, the main character. This guy is Emile in French, the main guy, the main character of this game. And I think his main goal throughout this entire thing is to save Carl, because Carl is his daughter's husband. That's his daughter. That's Emile's daughter. And he's going to war.
A few days after Carl was deported, the war was hungry for more and took away Emile as well. A heavy-hearted Emile was called up to fight and left the farm for Saint-Mihiel. Like so many others, he had no idea what fate had in store for him.
And that's where the game starts. You move with the arrows. I did this like a few times, so I know what to do. This is Emile. I love comments that I made the other times as well, but I keep doing I really love the art of this game. I think it's like so nicely drawn, like kind of like a hand drawn type of thing, almost like Disney-esque in a sense, but obviously different in a lot of senses as well. But it's really well drawn, really well produced, and I like how every single one of the characters is kind of childish as well. Just kind of like in Meadows, like they have like this childishness to them, as an entire art kind of feels a little bit more like a kid's drawing. And even though it's like horrible things that happen in the war, and like people die, and people will die in this game as well, and horrible things will happen in... Oh yeah, there you go, tab. They teach you that you can actually learn things through this game. Those are all fun facts, so I'm just gonna leave this here. Frame here, frame here, frame here, and frame here. If you want to read all of this, you can pause and be more informed about things from the First World War by pausing this episode wherever you want to read it. And cool thing, they have a Facebook and Twitter thing here as well. I had never noticed this. I think you can kind of share it, but yeah, there's this kind of... Yeah, it was because of... You can see here, if you can read it here, in partnership 14 to 18 Mission Centenaire. So it's like a French initiative, probably to teach young folks to like what about the horrors of the war and stuff like that, and kind of like a remembrance type of thing. And cool thing about this is that the photos are here in color, but they took all of those photos in black and white, so it's definitely color in post, in a sense. Like it's artificial coloring, but it's nice to give like a nice perspective of real life, because I feel like whenever you have black and white pictures, it kind of feels like otherworldly, and like to put colors, it's kind of like immediately makes them seem more real for us, and makes us understand that things actually happen in our world and not in a make believe type of thing, like this game. This guy's kind of funny. He all kind of speak words here and there, but not necessarily just mumble most of the time, which is comical. I think it's funny. I don't recall if you can run with a button or if you just run. Okay, so you have to go back and you have to pay attention to those stuff. Like those are the pictures that kind of like tell you cues of what you're supposed to do, and that's this guy that you must interact with so that he can play the trumpet magically without actually pressing any of the triggers. And yeah, you just run. Big thumbs up for myself here from the colonel, sergeant, whatever. And yeah, pretty simple to play. I just kind of like whack this dude with my gun. You don't shoot much in this game, you just kind of like whack things, which is nice. Like a bit of a switch from killing. And even though you got to like throw bombs and whatnot, it's not it's still kind of like a cool cartoonesque type of thing, and even the music shows all of that too. Let's whack this dude again, so I can go over and finish the tutorial for the 3rd time. Another thing is like I can hold 2 bombs, and probably not in the tutorial, but I can hold more than one thing on me. Maybe I can do it now. No, I can. Maybe this, yeah. No, this one is like just allowing me to toss it. And yeah, so that's most of it for the tutorial, and it's pretty much over at this point. That's my war training in that regard. This game is beautiful. It's really sad that it bugged the first time, because I think the idea is incredible and I really like it. And obviously, yeah. République Française, 150e Régiment d'Infanterie. So yeah, pretty nice game, very kind of like historically accurate, and a lot of, sorry, this guy's speaking right now.
I hope that the harvest goes well. Rely on our neighbors for help. They've always been gracious and charitable people. I'll write again as soon as I get my assignment. Please kiss my little grandson for me.
So yeah, the game has actually heavy themes in a lot of senses, but still manages to be
at the
very...
train depot in Paris, trying to reach his regiment at Platform 21, Emile would meet the man he would soon fight alongside. The man who would come to be his truest friend.
The American. So I already did all of this tutorial, so kind of like no, and I just did it. So like here's the thing, like, yeah, he's not gonna allow you to. So to get to him, so your goal is to whatever save him from bullying. And this guy's serving with the French people. He's American and he has his own vendetta. You're gonna learn about this. So this kind of teaches you the easy part. Like this is kind of like what you have to do with those guys. You see like this kind of like the pipe over there, and that's kind of what we have to do. Throughout this whole thing, this is kind of like what we have to do, and yeah, I already know what to do, so it's kind of alright. So yeah, this guy wants, yeah, this guy wanted the wine, so like, yeah, so he lets you go, and he wanted it specifically this one, because if you take this one, even though the bottle is very similar, it's not the same thing. So yeah. So he wanted that one specifically. Now I already knew that, but first time around I kind of had to like do a little bit of a thing. And yeah, every time like you're gonna be unlocking new things in there. So whatever, have like a diary entry is like the thing that he wrote before. And yeah, let's keep moving and try to get through this as quick as possible. Yeah, so this thing is so the items that you collect throughout the game, and throughout the game is see like those are collectible items that kind of represent something from the war and whatever. It's kind of like historical things that for you to learn a little bit more. So this one's a little, as it says, a letter from a French soldier. So those are actually real, and people wrote that. And yeah, it can get kind of like heavy in that sense because of that. So this guy won't let me get back to the game. This guy won't let me go through the ladder, which is where I need to go over here. And see the conductor over there, I need to kind of like ring the bell, and so he will whatever go away, or and I'll pull the little chainy thingy over there. And yeah, oh boy, the rendering. My computer is not bad, by the way. It's just kind of like, okay. So yeah, there's an order for you to do that, and I don't quite remember what it is, but I believe it is this guy first. Yeah, so, and then this guy, and this guy, and then this guy. So I already did this before, so easy. And another cool detail that I've noticed I was playing is like, see the band is like playing, it's like a really foreground sound. As you go away, it's kind of like echoes in the ambient sound, and it gets weaker and weaker as you go away. So like that's very well thought, and it really helps build a lot of I thought I had to ring the bell, but apparently I don't. That's it. Maybe I'll have to ring the bell afterwards, but in any case, I don't have to now. So, and that's it. I've already released the guy from the police.
I'm free. Well, you flew. You listen.
Yeah, it's really funny. I love the way they talk in this game. I think it's hilarious. So, we're from.
August
Pretty
21st,
hilarious.
1914.
For me.
Emil's regiment was sent to fight against the 71st German Division, led by Baron von Dorf.
Remember this name.
The general cheer of the first hours dissipated into the fear of first combat.
By the way, I don't think it was called Germany back then. I think it was the Prussian Empire or something like that. I believe Germany got formed either before or after the war or something like that, but I don't think it was called Germany back then. But I'll need to fact check that. Yeah. So this is actual fighting. This is the actual one, and I'm holding a banner and not a gun. So that they show this like in terms of like kind of look like photos, but this is actually matters. Like you have to run away. You don't have. You can't be hit by bombs. Can be a little bit more difficult than it looks, just if you don't pay attention. Still the very early levels, kind of like tutorial-y. So yeah, but yeah, everything doesn't go as well as it looks. So yeah, and that's when things turn really bad and everybody dies. Yeah, it's a pretty rough situation if you look at it. Oh, I can die. Wow. I totally thought I had to. Oh, anyway, I died. I can't die. You kind of have to pay attention to the things on the ground. Just kind of like, yeah. So they should. Oh, feet. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Oh, they're rendering. Oh wow, look at this. The corpses on the ground. It can be pretty gruesome at times. Even though it has a very cartoonist type of style. Oh boy. I'll die soon. I don't necessarily die, I just get shot, because that's the main character. It goes through to the end of the game. I believe I have never beaten it, by the way, so. Yeah. Lovely piano tracks going on. And that's a mill, and they got a pretty hard defeat right there. That is Carl. Yay!
Miss Marie Chillon. Private Emile Chillon from the 150th Infantry Regiment was wounded by enemy fire on August 21st. He has been captured by the enemy. Hopefully, you shall receive news from him soon. Freddy, originally from America, enlisted voluntarily in the French forces at the start of the war. Behind his
A
bravery
little bit of his story.
hid a man already devastated by the war's effects. A man with one sole obsession: punish those who had destroyed his life.
Very classic motives. There's like not very original and whatever, but like, you know, they gotta add a character.
It was at the
Makes sense.
Battle of the Marne that Freddy finally picked up the trail of the regiment commanded by Baron von Dorf.
See? Same name. So Freddy fights with the mill against the same guy, for whom Carl is, I guess, working. He's the subordinate of von Dorf's. And yeah. And I will stop it here. By the way, I got a thing here which I forgot to take a bunch of those in the other I guess chapters of this game and whatnot. Dang. So yeah, I will stop it right now. I'm just like running sideways because I will start this this part of the game for the next episode. So yeah, if you're a human being, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.